Hey, happy Friday. I just had something on my mind and I want to share with you. To share a little bit about my journey with college and career. And yes, it's great, the new announcement that was made about Jehovah's Witnesses going to college August of 2025. But there's grief for some people. And I just really hope and that people empathize um, with others about that. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be upset if you feel slighted or betrayed by the decision. And as a matter of fact, it's quite normal. I can relate to that. Um, I can relate to that, especially as people get older. And as I am getting older, I'm a woman in her early 40s, unfortunately. So I can definitely understand. Now, I'm grateful that my parents they were those witness parents and encouraged us to go to college, right? But my journey was different. And it's actually in my book. We'll come back to that. This is what I want to share. I've studied telecommunications, right? Middle school and high school. Love telecommunications, love the camera. Always thought I was going to be a news anchor of something or some sort. So I picture myself maybe doing like the lifestyle show segments or something like that, or out at the events doing entertainment, doing stuff, because I love talking to people. I'm a social butterfly. So I did very well in telecommunications, middle school and high school. Voted in 8th grade most likely to pursue a career in telecommunications. But in 8th grade, thinking about everything that we were learning at the Kingdom Hall, right? I told my counselor with my mother that I was going to go and pursue hair, right? I'll just go into cosmetology for high school because that's what's encouraged anyway. And, I saw kind of what my older sibling was doing, and I just said, well, that's what I'll do. But mind you, keep in mind this: in middle school, if you were not in a magnet program, then you were in class with like the bad kids. So being in a magnet program was the way to go. And math and science gonna work for me. Dance, I had body image issues, so telecom, I'm gonna go into telecommunications. Plus, I had already seen that journey because my older two brothers had pursued telecommunications in middle school too. So 8th grade, talking to counselor with mom. All right, to my mother, I want to go into cosmetology. My oldest brother did the same, right? So, I've seen this journey, right? So sometimes, we copy our siblings. So long story short, the counselor tells my mother, like, no, do not do it, because that's what the ghetto girls do. So all the girls who are going in high school to pursue their cosmetology license, that's not what's going to be right for Myra. So that made my mother feel fear, like, oh my goodness, like I don't want her being around, bad kids, right? Which is exactly why we were in a magnet program to begin with, to be around kids who are more focused on their schools and on their studies. Now, is that true? That was his opinion, right? We ain't gonna go into all of that, right? So, there's definitely a lot of come on, we got celebrity style hairstylists. Cosmetology could take you places you ain't never been before, right? Entrepreneurship. My brother, he is a celebrity barber in LA, and he got multiple homes. So clearly there's a place for it, right? So long story short, I pursued telecommunications in high school, went on that track, loved it. First of all, I loved it, right? I'm a natural born storyteller. Definitely, my personality test that I took at Ivy Tech speaks to that. I shared that on a couple of videos ago, a while ago, how I was so confused at Ivy Tech when I was pursuing like medical stuff. I'm like, why is my personality test saying that journalism, performing arts, marketing, because it's all storytelling? But those are my top 3 career choices where I would find the most satisfaction, right? So long story short, getting off track, back on track. So long story short, I'm pursuing telecommunications in high school. Mind you, my counselor in middle school had seen me on, our little news high school news show. So of course it was pretty evident that I was, talented and that I was really good in communications and public speaking. So long story short, in high school, pursued that, and I'm going through all this stuff, you know about my past, all right? But one of the stumbling blocks was my junior year. My mother was trying to get me to shadow at news stations for career-based purposes, right? And trying to get me kind of connected with some of the news anchors locally. And then that's when it was realized, like, wait a minute, this is actually a 4-year degree, not a 2-year degree. And our religion only encourages what? 2 years, get the bare minimum, other things. So then it was like going to school to pursue telecommunications was not going to work for me. However, also this speaks to families who are Jehovah's Witnesses who do it anyway, right? Because there are some individuals who I know in this city, and I've had conversations, who my dad was an elder, right? My mother was a pioneer, and when she came right out of school and pioneered, right? So pretty spiritually grounded family as far as the faith of Jehovah's Witnesses. There's another family in Indianapolis, Indiana, who's well known. Dad's an elder. Honey, all his kids went to Butler University. They got their degrees, right? His daughters, they got their luxury cars. And I've also had a conversation with the individual suffering from religious trauma, and that was that's upsetting for a lot of people, right? And I was like, well, they stayed at home. They stayed at home and got their classes. But some people feel like, why did they get to do it and we did it, right? I was listening and being obedient to the slave or the governing body, and look how much money they're making and how well they're doing, and look at my life now. And now I'm too old, or I don't have the time, or it's too hard for me to go back to school. So you have those people out there who are grieving. Normalize, validate, and support. I say all that to say I still have a certain measure of grief. I'm grateful that life has opened up doors, so I've gotten that fix in clearly, right? I've done my play, professional journalist. Life worked out for me. Sorry, y'all, my alarm clock was going off. Life kind of went in a circle for me, and it's wonderful things are still happening, but look at all the trauma I had to go through. I mean, discovering drama therapy. I had to go to school, and it was just a coincidence that I stumbled across it. So in essence, life worked itself out for me, and now I'm able to do all these wonderful things and even build other principles or other programs based off of storytelling, which is beautiful. So I get a second chance. But so many other people do not get a second chance, and it's okay to be upset about that. And I just really, really hope that I'm heard on this, and that definitely anyone who's grieving out there about the decision, it's okay to be upset, and you're not alone, and your feelings are justified. All right, I'm out.